even when Theodore Roosevelt was somewhat sympathetic to white Southerners who were appalled at the conditions they were kept in, they had to back off of any reforms they were going to enact because they needed the uncompensated labor to keep the industrial primacy of the United States alive at around the turn of the 20th century. And you have to remember that as horribly as enslaved people were treated, you needed to keep your property alive for resale and to get work out of them. With the chain gangs, they didn't need any of that. They kept them in cages because they could just throw them away. The other thing is, right now, most prisons are located in white rural communities. They're almost the sole source of employment for those communities, and it's a colonial situation because you've got the vast majority of people of color who are prisoners, and they're kept there in large part to pacify the white working class, which doesn't have jobs. And another factor which is pretty obvious is that with the privatized prison system, many of those private outfits demand that you have almost full incarceration rates, or they won't take it on. And the drug conspiracy laws have been enabled. You don't need hard evidence to convict somebody. So you bring in somebody, you found some pot on them or something, and you go for vulnerable populations, and you tell them, okay, you're facing a 10-year mandatory minimum. However, we'll let you off for 3 years if you'll finger somebody else. Well, of course, you know, especially if they've got kids or family, they're going to finger somebody else, do their 3 years, and then those other people are corralled. They don't need hard evidence. The whole system sucks. And if you don't know these things, you are never, ever going to understand what is going on. But I just want to add, I do want to say something about this case, this particular case, and it is this. I watched that video, and clearly the officers were being filmed. I don't think they intended to commit murder on film, but objectively it was murder. It was certainly negligent manslaughter. And I think that one of the factors that has not been addressed in this report is the facilities. That corridor was so narrow that there is no way that even 6 big officers and there were other big men around could control a little, she seemed to be petite woman, because, you know, there's no way. I mean, it was a horrible situation. It was torture. It was hot. I'm sure she had been exerting herself for a half hour or more. You don't know what kind of condition that person is in initially. She could have had a heart murmur. She could have had any number of conditions. I think she could have been killed had they not used the taser. And to have a recommendation that says that every officer should carry a taser? Are you serious? Thank you. Are you serious? On film, they couldn't get their act together. They knew they were being filmed, and they couldn't get their act together, whether because of lack of training or whatever, but clearly their priority was to move things along as fast as they could. And as that was their priority, it was certainly not the sanctity of human life. Right.
Reverend Linda Olson Peebles.